the sky, and kings shall deceive. We have come into the night, thunder and rage and war a night. We have come into the night, thunder and rage and war a night. We'll fight for kings, for Ragnarok. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I can feel it in my veins, the warrior inside of me. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. The sounds of arms, fierce morality, nightfall the rain, and the silence leads. We have come into the night, thunder, rage, and war a night. We have come into the night, thunder, rage, and war a night. We'll fight for kings, for Ragnarok. Sail war. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I can feel it in my veins, the warrior inside of me. Bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok, bring her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla.
A lot of Bob
All
Ross when I was a
right.
kid, I won't lie.
Welcome one, welcome all to our Valhalla Esports Season 4, Week 2. It's the live stream of the week. With me tonight we have Matthias, RDR, Malco, and SKT Cuddly. Take it away,
Sup,
gentlemen.
sup?
What's going on? What's going on? As we already got a call out in the chat, this is going to be a banger tonight. As you guys see, we have our very own Valhalla Esports boy band versus insert name there. As we finally have come to give a quick little short name to them, they are now known as INT. If you guys want to have some fun with that. But real quick, just to get the introductions out the way, once again, you are joined by Malcolm, Matthias, and SKT Cuddly. How you boys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, bruv. I'm excited to see HYG. I got to see them cast first week, and they were playing really, really well, adapted very, very well. So they got a little more practice than Ent coming into this game, who we haven't seen yet. So I'm excited to see, Mont Blanc and Deity and classic Insert. Insert going support here. That is really cool. What about you, Cuddly?
I think this is gonna be a bloodbath. I'm feeling it. Like I've seen HYG play like a lot, like previous seasons and now this season. They're doing really good. So this should definitely be, like somebody said, a banger.
Yeah, banger and a bloodbath. That's what we're looking forward to.
Oh yeah, lots of kills, lots of leads, shutdowns. Let's do it.
This is gonna be a fun one, especially. I'm really curious to see Didi in the mid lane this time around. I primarily have seen him a lot in the jungle for the most part, and I've even played with him in the jungle. So this is going to be very interesting to see him on a more and that more carry potential, being able to facilitate from that mid lane. But I definitely want to give props to for HIG, especially for last week. The Jeffrey Crazy and TJ, those two were an absolute tear for their team.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
they really they really allowed them to be able to get that, to eke out that first week win for them. So this is going to be a definite, like, this is going to be a big one for them to actually be able to win here if they can take this next win and be able to just continue the momentum forward.
Yeah, Marbra did a really good job of adapting last week. The first game he didn't get to like match as many roams, but second game he picked it up very quickly. And with Insert also there as support, that is no easy feat as far as the bottom lane goes. So I think a lot of this action is going to be in the bottom lane. I'm really excited for this.
I think right
Cody, what are you
now.
looking forward to?
You know, I'm hoping Int actually gets the win. I'm hoping.
Oh, just out of the gate, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping they get the win, but you never know, right? So it could be anybody's game because obviously there's going to be more players that have more experience in what's going on, and you know, so
Is Omega the Reaper? Is that Envy? Is that the same dude?
It is not.
I
That is not the same dude. Noted. Okay.
Envy the Reaper is still on Goat Kings. He was kept this season by Goat King
Gotcha.
Beard. This is Omega the Reaper, originally from Los Tomatos. He was on the championship
Ooh.
team last year.
yeah,
Haha. Okay,
I
let's
think
go.
I think Omega is gonna bully Perfy.
Cuddly getting a little spicy with it.
No, I see where he's coming from though. Burpee is definitely a safer laner. He's definitely not. I mean, he definitely can play these little more damage-oriented champs. But getting right into draft, we see Nocturne and Nautilus banned away from HYG as
Ooh,
Swain is taken away from Ent.
yep.
Nautilus Nocturne being very popular bans throughout week one as well. Just Nautilus is a very safe
Oh,
support. And Nocturne has a lot of engage potential just across the map. But we see the Amumu and the
Moo.
Ari taken out respectively.
Yep. What's the third ban?
With Omega being on the championship team last year, not seeing too many picks towards top here out of the first three picks. So maybe we'll see a little more focus on the bot lane with the Swin and the non-list bans out. But apparently they do not want HYG to have that Ari mid. Played an absolute stellar game with it last week.
I do like where
Ooh, a
the
volley
Volibear
ban.
ban.
That's interesting.
I like what these bans are, and I feel like that it seems like both these teams are trying to force either the players to start choosing their bot sides. So try getting the top support and
Yep.
maybe a jungler here. And I think we're getting our first green jungler, and it's gonna end up being a pretty strong one. Or maybe this is gonna actually be top lane
Yeah,
with
I'm saying it could be a flex pick. Yep,
that's
That
actually
might be a topper jungle for sure.
green junglers.
you just
Yeah,
gotta
the
respect
Zag,
this green
the
is
Zag
gonna.
being a flex pick is pretty good. I think I've even seen it go support sometimes. But yeah, the top sustain Zach is absolutely insane, and then obviously jungle. But personally, I think I said this on a previous stream last week. I got wrecked by a Zach mid, and there was
All
just
right,
nothing I
there's
could do.
Poppy.
Poppy locked in for HYG, another great champ, and Set followed up with that.
Ooh, so
I
that
can
might
already hear
be Poppy
KB
jungle
screaming.
and set top.
I can hear KB screaming now. Why can't I get the poppy? Like we're in a whole other game. I can already hear him. But I do really like the fact that like both these teams, and that's the thing we should be expecting from both of these teams is a lot of flex picks to actually go around because it just makes sense that all these teams have the ability, both of these teams have the ability to like shift their champions around. Like look at this. Like from the side of INT, all these champions can be shifted around technically in that mid jungle or top side. So there's
Yep.
actually no complete like given of exactly where is it going. But I'm definitely expecting probably more of a Riven top more than anything with the Zac going jungle and maybe Maokai support.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm leaning. It's probably Zach jungle, Riven top, Maokai support. Those two could be swapped a little bit, but I don't think Maokai is excelling too much in the jungle right now. But an Ashe pickup from HYG makes a lot of sense to be able to, oh no, switch to Lucian,
This
going for a little more
solution.
mobility than Kite there. I like that into these tanks. A lot of those on hit effects, Lucian can kind of keep up and start whittling down these high health bars.
And instead they decided to ban the Ashe in their
Ban
second
the
lane phase
Ashe.
immediately.
Maybe a little bit slight miscommunication there on the misclick, but we see a Nami banned away. Am I crazy?
Nope, not a crazy thing to ban, especially when you have a Lucian. You don't want to enable that combination, so they're probably going to be forced to like a Lucian Lulu type combo for the bot side or Lucian Milio, but you don't want to be able to give Lucian Nami the ability to like actually snowball in that bot lane. Nami
Yeah,
highly enables Lucian at this moment.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because the E with the extra magic damage.
Yep, and then there's the Milio ban, which now the only other thing that you probably can pair up is maybe Yumi or Lulu with this Lucian right now. It's looking like, and maybe they're gonna go
Oh,
for the Rel instead. Oh, Braum too. Can't forget about that as well. That's always a
Yeah,
classic combo. Haven't seen that in oh man, who knows how long.
long
So
time.
that Rel could potentially also go into the jungle, I think, and then maybe Poppy support.
Maybe.
yeah, they got a small flex pick there. I like the Jinx hyper carry pickup for end here. I think that's really nice. You got a massive front line. You got somebody with long enough range in the back line. That's a pretty safe pick.
And I think for the actual dueling potential against the Lucian and being able to outrange him would really help with the Rockets there. So I think they're just trying to adapt to what the potential could be for their bot lane. But there's
Hmm.
I'm just worried about what the support pick is going to be here for HYG.
And we see the Veigar hover and now locked in for an end, adding a little bit more necessary
Oh,
damage down for that team. That's exactly what they needed. They had DPS with the Jinx. They had good burst and bruiserness from the Riven. They got two massive frontliners with Maokai and Zag, and we got Veigar for the craziest AP burst. And I think that's a good damage mix-up too, with Jinx and Riven being really heavy AD champs, and then obviously Veigar being pure AP, spreading that around.
And then
and
the
we got the Ori
Orianna.
pick.
Yeah, Orianna pick and look really good with the rail set and Poppy. Plenty of targets to send that ball in and get a good ult off without having to sacrifice or misposition herself. Great combos with the rail, obviously. HYG having a really tight team comp, I think. A little bit easier to execute. But Ent certainly has a lot of good catch and a lot of good ranged engages. So this is going to be pretty exciting. So, Malco, off a draft, who are you leaning towards?
I'm not gonna lie, even though it's a bad connotation here, I'm rooting for Int to win. On this one. I really do like how they decided to go with the Vigard Jinx at the last two picks here. Both of those being very good late game insurances, especially if the Vigard and for like Vigard, technically he can be a very, very good, like even mid game insurance where you're gonna just see your squishies get blown up and all he has is like an item and a half. So it's I think right now we're looking for it's looking like an int win for me. I in Maokai still extremely strong. Zach gonna be a great peel and disengage potentially whenever like say set or that Poppy attempts to go in on their backline. Like yeah, there's a lot of engage, but I don't see much disengage from the side of HYG, which could if a proper engage or improper engage happens, it could lead to them ultimately losing a team fight, especially with the ability to disengage and peel from the side of INT.
Yeah, I can absolutely see where you're coming from. Cuddly, what do you think off just draft alone?
Honestly, because I played with a certain someone before that's on int right now.
Hmm.
Uh, I think they got game one for sure.
Yeah, certainly the chat seems to agree in these early voting stages. There's zero votes for HYG so far. With 3 minutes left in those polls, get those votes in.
I do
But
want to
yeah,
point
I
out
gotta say,
Zabel made a good point. Poppy does deny Ribbon and Zach very hard, but it's also going to
yep.
be a matter of the fact that HYG, I personally, like I said before, they just have mostly engage. Like everyone has to basically go in. So really, even with the denial that Poppy can bring for like the engage point from INT, like they also have to engage into them, but the disengage from INT is significantly better. So they
Yeah,
can
for
kind
sure.
of mitigate a lot of that, especially with like Vygar basically having a full zoning tool entirely from this. It actually makes it harder for them to potentially go in. So it's like Vygar has not only that damage factor, but that ability to completely zone out a team fight as well.
Valhalla Esports saying prediction is up. Put your points where your typing is. Amen, brother. Yeah,
um,
go ahead, Cuddy. Keep going.
I was just gonna say, Int also has a lot more like stun and like CC potential, where on the other side it's more like they went more defensive based
Yeah, I was
because
gonna
they're
say,
not
you're
sure
talking about
how the other team is gonna play, so they played like
yeah,
the safe picks.
absolutely. You're talking about Int's engage, or Malco's talking about Int's disengage. But if you're looking at HYG's team there, I mean, you have Poppy for the disengage, you have Set for a good counter engage if the Zac or the Maokai does go in, throwing the big tank back
Hmm.
into their team, which sets up a great Oriana, and Rel can also start peeling for some of the damage on the back line. This is going to be really interesting. Lucian and Oriana will have to pull a significant amount of weight DPS wise. But the set can certainly get ahead on this Riven. I'm excited to see that matchup in the top lane. That's going to be like y'all are saying in earlier in the game, this is set up to be a bloodbath with both of these teams.
Yeah,
Like,
this is gonna be completely insane.
I think HYG kind of set themselves up to have a bloodbath type of team. Like they have to fight. Like this is going to be a team where you literally have to fight a lot.
Yep,
So
and
it's looking
get all the
like
other. Yeah, these guys are all late gamers, like late game,
yeah,
so they want
Jinx,
to get the
Veigar, great
early
late game
advantage as
champs.
fast as they can.
Yeah. Yeah, I am super excited. Anything else, Malco, for these last 40 seconds before we start with these level 1 shenanigans?
well,
We'll
I
still
think we're
have the
gonna
3 minute.
well yeah
Oh,
we'll
the
still have
free
spectator
delay. Sure,
delay.
right. My bad. Keep going.
No, no worries. But like, I think for what this is, okay, seeing Rel go, okay, that I was actually thinking maybe Pop. I don't know why. I think I would have liked Poppy support a little bit better in this particular situation, just to maybe help with keeping the Maokai off of Lucian when possible. But I
Hmm.
actually see this is me. I think the top side of insert of INT is going to end up winning, while the bot lane of HYG is going to end up being the winning factor for HYG here. Just I think that in the way the matchup looks like, this is what we should be expecting from both these sides. So if anything, INT is gonna want to look to try to really bolster that factor of their top side being stronger.
Right on. And Cuddly, any more insight while we load for this game?
Honestly, I would have picked Rel jungle for sure, just because of the fact that her Q is really good against the little eddies that I call them, the void grubs.
Indeed,
So,
indeed.
she could burst them down faster without needing any help. Where Zac is probably gonna need help against the Poppy, probably. We will just have to see about that because Poppy's pretty good at getting void grubs too, but not as fast
Yeah,
as Rel would be because Rel's Q actually executes them.
for sure. Definitely an advantage for the rail there. I think having Poppy throughout the jungle and being mobile, being able to throw that interrupt in front of the Riven and in front of the Zac and in well, Jinx Vigor, Maokai don't use it so much, but being able to, I think Poppy being flexible, I think it probably has a little bit better gank potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think with enough gold behind them, Poppy is probably more of a menace than Rel is. If they had 10k gold each. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for the way HYG is going to have to handle this. I don't think they're the engage team for sure, even though it looks like all they want to do is engage with this, Set and Oriana and Rel and whatnot. I think they're primarily going to be wanting Mont Blanc to be proactive in some of these plays, or Maokai also, and be proactive in some of these plays and kind of disengage and counter engage with that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
hard it's a little bit easier to play reactive when you're doing like that kind of thing. When you're being a little more proactive, when you're starting those fights, there's more room for error. And so it's really going to be on int here rather to have some pretty clean engages. But their jungle skirmishes also look really clean, with some of the Vagar catches and Zach Miller jump over walls along with Maokai. These objectives fights are going to be gnarly.
Oh yeah, like the roots and everything. And then we can't forget about Miss Ori that's gonna sit in the back line and throw a ball at somebody and use her ulti. So
Yeah, I think Lucian is probably going to be the main source of damage here to try to take down some of this beefy front line, but Riven is going to be chugging through as much as she can. But we'll see what Rel and Poppy and Oriana can do for Peel. And Oriana is a bit of a tough pick here, I think. Being able to burst down the Vega and the Jinx if she gets a good ult on them, but how far they're able to sit back and still participate in the fight, I think is going to be a pretty big problem if we're trying to chunk down Ints carries.
there
I
we
do like the
go.
fact. I was gonna say I do like the fact that both these teams do primarily match in like the damage profile. So you got Bruiser, Tank, Mage, 80, Tank. So it's like we kind of have a decent matchup between the two. It's just gonna end up. I'm actually kind of hoping for some level 1 shenanigans right now. Like I want to see a full on 5-man, 5v5 in that bot tri-bush. Everybody dying, and this whole, I just want this whole game to be thrown completely on its head.
Right, and right as we get in, we have an 81% vote for Int as HYG comes with 19%. I think I threw 2,000 towards HYG and it bumped it up like 5%. So I think the chat has spoken.
Oh, it doesn't look like we're gonna get the invade.
No, everybody's doing a little nice fence post there, just
Yeah.
nice and clean.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's so
nice and
disappointing.
respectful.
You can't name yourselves Int and not Int at level 1. Come on.
It's called an Intvade.
Well, we do see a little. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh,
We might actually get a little something here. Poppy
Okay,
can't start the W. Gets a little stack for the Vygar, knocking middle lane, forces the flash out of them, and get a little vision for themselves. Nice start from INT.
yeah.
Yep, very clean. You see a little small stack on the Vigor there, but getting the Poppy Flash is certainly going to be, hopefully, Inzert can
Now
take
Ori's
advantage of all
just
that.
playing the little wall trick here so they can see.
Yeah, those mid champions that have abilities that grant vision are really spicy for these level ones, like the Lux or Nevia or Oriana right there that can just kind of cover vision. That's really cool stuff. But then after that, we just see some normal starts, both starting bot lane and let the game begin as Riven is looking in the top bush, a little catching that wave early, set getting a little late, getting some damage or getting to the wave.
Yeah, just let it be a little slow start for both of these teams. I just expect a lot of actually in that top side as we're already seeing an insane brawl. Ignite dropped onto Perfy, gonna bring him down to just under 20% HP. Absolutely insane. Flashes in, able to land first blood.
Omega the Reaper showing off why he was part of the champion team last season. Perfy has a lane ahead of him for sure.
I've seen him play that pick. He is nasty on it if he gets it going. And I'm hoping he does.
Oh, but we do have a little engage. Immediately drops the Ignite onto them. Be able to take it on the last tick of the Ignite. Marbra being able to get that kill for HYG.
Okay, that's good. Nice trade there. ADC for top lane.
It's just pretty interesting to see both the just seeing that trade-off happen, but at the same time I'm very concerned to see that Riven was able to so easily 1v1 a set, but again that was also level 1, so I kind of expect that power at the beginning, but establishing that kind of pressure is not fun. And I think Riven sitting at level 3 versus Set's level 1 just hit level 2 now, so yeah, this is already not looking like the best lane for topside.
I mean, you called
looking looking a little tough. Still level 2, trying to get this wave crash, but now Perfy's going to catch up in levels here and hopefully maybe balance out some of this game. But no other crazy leads so far as CS goes, other than the Jinx going down right there. Yeah. Aurel picking up the kill is not the greatest thing. Not the greatest thing for HYG as far as gold goes.
No.
But even more of a front line just to let the Lucian.
Hold on, once
Really
again,
good.
getting caught out, and this time Jeffrey Crazy able to take that kill, forcing the flash out of the Maokai here, but they're going to try to return that up top side as Perfy's getting engaged on, able to get the big W off, get a little bit of shielding, but not going to be enough as they are able to take the kill onto Perfy. Omega the Reaper, though, going to be slain by TJ as he's up there in the at the right time to help with that counter gank. Oh man, we're already starting to see some of these kills and everything come out. A little trading up in the mid lane, but right now HYG at least showing that they got some fight in them.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that map where
We got
Jinx here having some difficulties, looking like a little bit.
looking like we having some connections issues down in that bot lane there. Oh, and now we have Inzert here hovering around his mid laner.
Yep. Bonkers is pretty comfortable on this Orianna, and it's definitely a skill matchup. But this Orianna has to apply some pressure to this Vigor because she's not going to be able to, have the burst impact later. But if Vigor can be even a little aggressive here against the Orianna, it doesn't take much past 6 for Vigor to be able to burst Orianna all the way down. But we see a gank here
uses
with
the
Pop and top.
W. Omega was trying to get away, going into low health mode, but now TJ ends up getting taken out. Omega able to get that kill right back. Perfy, though, gonna finally get some revenge for all that top lane shenanigans against him. Perfy, though, in low health, one more hit, Mont Block taking that kill, and now Marbra gonna have to just turn around. The support not gonna be able to do much against the enemy support and jungler, and these Void Grubs are now looking like it's going right over to INT.
Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Like, just games like this, it feels so good to watch because, like, everyone's, like, evenly matched right now.
Oh, engage, jumps in, gets the stun. Vigar caught up, but misses the ultimate from Orianna. Montblanc gonna be able to help him out, but unfortunately, Insert's gonna have to give up his life, and an extra Void Grub at least now taken for the red team as the HYG boys making something happen even in some of their shortcomings.
Yeah.
9 kills at 6 minutes. That qualifies both conditions of a banger and a bloodbath. I think we were right on point with this. The grab is getting.
They're scrapping again, top lane.
I love this, man. This is what I love to see in our games. Is just these big old scraps.
Yeah,
oh man, production's great. Thank you so much.
Set getting the Tiamat there is really going to help him staying or minimizing the amount of time he has to be in front of this Riven. However, her freezing the wave right here and getting to go back just shows a little bit better wave manipulation. And we're going to see some gold advantages come through here really soon. But only like a 1K difference for the side of HYG.
It's actually... So this is what I said, I think, in the games when I think was it HYG versus Demonic Ascension, where we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Oh no, Inzert caught out in between the two, and Jeffrey Crazy is gonna be able to take him out. Already level 6, able to drop that. Oh, every bullet hitting, doing so much damage. 25% health right now for this Jinx, and right now the bot lane, as pointed out before, looking damn good for the side of HYG.
Yeah, Rel getting Rel being level 4 against the Maokai, who was level 3, and the Lucian being 6 going into that fight was certainly not what Ent surely wanted right there. But great wave management for HYG to be able to get those level peaks and be able to get that extra kill and 2 kills now onto the Lucian instead of Rel snagging up more. That's really well done by them.
I'm gonna say this: HYG already looking much stronger this particular season. I'm not sure exactly what the changes are. But so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to kind of maybe compare from last season to this season to see what's going on. But they're definitely showing a lot more, how do you say, a lot more fight in the beginning, early parts of the season. Able to execute this dive. Jeffrey Crazy gonna be able to take him out. Going on a killing spree. Marbra, though, gonna have to lose his life, but it ends up being the 2 kills going right over. Unfortunately, INT's bot lane is doing exactly that, and it's looking like that HYG is really trying to make them show what their name really means.
Yeah, Rel was so tanky right there for that tower dive, and it was so clean, such a clean setup. Clear engage by the Marbra to take tower aggro, and then with the follow-up by the Lucian and the Poppy. Those are the kind of aggressive plays you want to see from this team to be able to snowball into this mid-game, where they're going to have the best chance against Ent here.
I think Ent still has a very good chance to stay within this game. I honestly predicted this, where I felt that their bot lane was going to be a little bit weaker in comparison to the HYG bot lane, just based on the champions alone. But oh wait, hold on, Deity. Oh, you're pretty safe. Oh, you're a little too far out, but back under your turret should be just fine. Now your support's here, Mont Block's here, trying to make a little bit of an engage happen. HYG Barbara caught up in the middle of it. Poppy ult gonna be able to land, but Riven's here and still caught out using the ultimate tick down. Boom, still gonna be taken out by the ignite shutdown, going over to Omega the Reaper, but had to lose a life under that turret. And now Bonkers all alone. You're caught in between 3 different people, and instead of actually wanting to decide to go for this, gonna go for the enemy red and back off. So HYG though still a little bit ahead, 1,000 gold up, but every time these engages happen from INT, HYG is just ready and waiting to go ahead and counter that, and it's actually been working out for them very well.
Yeah, they're like on point with the counter jungling and stuff right now.
Yeah, HYG being where they're supposed to be in order to kind of catch up these fights. Maokai, though, still only level 4, 10 minutes into this game. He is going to have to catch some EXP somewhere so that he can get his ult a part of these fights.
Yeah, for sure.
That was very close for Deity there. If Marbro was actually able to get the charge off over the wall, that probably could have been Deity's life. But luckily he was able to get out of there, not giving up anything else to HYG and expanding their lead more than it already is.
Yeah, we see a completed item coming. Go ahead, Cuddly.
Just saying it's really spicy right now.
Yeah, a lot of action so far. We see a completed item coming from the Lucian with the Kraken Slayer, and we also see a completed item with Vigor on the Roa, which is a fun Vigor item, providing a little more durability. You can be able to stay in that front line just a little bit longer, make sure he gets those executes down and get those abilities off. But 0-3 on the Jinx against the Lucian, who's 3-0. Certainly going to be a long while before we
jumps
see
in onto Inzert. It's not going to be anywhere for him to go. You're wrapped around 4 different members. Mont Blanc, you're going to have to run away. TJ taking that kill from Inzert. And now the Void Grubs are looking like they're going right over to HYG. But we do have 2 members here. 3 members now from the side of INT looking to make this fight. Cage drops down, gets a lot of damage down onto Perfy. Denied by using the Poppy W. So much damage coming down from each side. Jinx W lands, but Omega the Reaper getting a big double kill right in the middle of the fight is exactly what they needed. Triple kill. Gonna end up taking out 3 members, chasing them down, and it ultimately leads to 4 members dropping in the middle of that fight. Holy fight, INT looking great right there.
Yeah, there was a lot going on
really
that fight.
Good.
That was really cool.
Omega.
An insane cross-map snipe from Jinx there, obliterating some life totals, and with the Riven execute also there, just plowing right through that. Really well counter-engaged there by Int. And what was cool, I thought, by HY... Oh, then we get another fight here in the bot lane.
Hold on. Jumps in onto Insert. I'm so sorry, INT. You're going to end up... No, he doesn't lose his life, and they actually end up drawing so much. And now Deity is here to help them out. Marbra uses the ult to keep Deity within their range, and it ends up, unfortunately, leading to his life being taken. But they can still continue fighting. Insert is still here. Jumps in onto the Lucian. Lucian able to get taken out, shut down onto the Jinx. Exactly who you needed to go to. The Poppy coming over the wall. Double kill for the Jinx. But now you got the jungle and mid laners right behind you. You need to run now. Run for your life. Bonkers coming in for you. You're gonna end up giving a shutdown right back to him. Dodges out on the first Q, able to go in. Dodges out on the second. She's gonna have to auto you. Shut down. You end up losing your life there, and it's so unfortunate. Going for the execute. Okay, that's necessary. Jinx, you did very good, and you just helped yourself get expanded now because of that big shutdown that you got onto the Lucian. But hopefully that allows INT to be able to make something happen more. But it ends up being a Drake as well for HYG. So that's the second Drake of the game.
Yeah, Sathos having really clean Jinx there, being able to use the full extent of Get Excited to create the space from Marbra, not getting out of his range and kiting afterwards. That was really well done. Even against the Orianna, just showing that like he's in their head, that he's coming for them, that the fingers are there. We're just waiting for the items to catch up. I'm really excited to see the Jinx now get a little bit of gold under her belt, having an item to match Solution here, Kraken for Kraken. But we do see still this 7-3 Riven here in the top lane against the 1-4 set. Still trying to get his first item down, but Riven is looking pretty comfy as she proxies his wave top lane.
She's pretty juicy right now.
Yeah, this is not looking like a fun top lane for Perfy. And if anything, that's probably going to be what ends up winning it here for INT is going to be this overall top side and how well they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, we still gotta be careful here because this Lucian and Marbra roaming around, being in the jungle everywhere, trying to be anywhere and everywhere at all points where they need them. This is actually a really big thing for HYG that they tend to do. And when you're not matching him, that's when you start to see things fall apart for the enemy team when they go up against the HYG in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach's here still being 1-0-8 with a was just 2 camps above, but is not looking for a game potential. So the junglers here are pretty even, except probably having the 4 kills, but Zach having the 8 assists probably rounds out pretty close to gold wise. But that is a divine sunderer for the Poppy, so that's yet another damage source coming in from HYG here. They're definitely going to need that build to burst down some of these bruisers. These and during the mid game until Lucian can catch up, or Lucian can get another item in and start shredding these tanks.
And as to be expected here, top lane ends up getting the first turret blood as well.
Indeed, first turret goes over to Int. First blood turret, yeah. We also see a small CS advantage that the Veigar has over the Orianna here after just catching little waves after she has backed. However, not a whole lot of goal discrepancies otherwise, so it's really just these kills that are piling on. But as we see Int here going, or HYG here going for the Herald. But Zach is here to show up for it, and he will let it go. Mont Blanc really thinking about that one, just they're not in time.
He's like, yeah, nope. That's 4 members.
I was actually so clean to use the ward as the addition for the Q. I'll absolutely love those kind of jack
We got a
shenanigans.
dive happening right here. Gets dived under the turret, decides to let it go. Inzert gonna be able to take that kill with the ignite right under the turret. Now they're finally getting some revenge on the HYG bottom lane. Oh, pulls her in. Gets her right back into the baby cage. Gonna let's bounce and try to get him in.
There
Uses
it
the
is.
ult, not gonna be enough. And then boom, the ult from Deity gonna be able to take that kill on the Orianna.
That was such a clean play from Deity and Mont Blanc right there. Being able to throw them into the Veigar cage, and that's just sure CC for the Veigar to get
The bottom lane here jumping in onto Marbra and is going to end up taking his life. Another kill going right over to Jinx this time. And TJ caught in between. Omega the Reaper going unstoppable with this Riven.
They're getting that momentum game 1.
Yeah,
Snowball.
Reaper looking really hot, and Jinx looking really good on the bot lane here, getting some more kills on her belt, making that gold discrepancy in the ADC lane absolutely negligible. And now we're really seeing the top difference in gold here, now with the 5k gold lead.
Reaper also has a 2-item spike right now.
Eclipse and Divine Sunder is a ton of damage.
Yep.
I do like seeing the fact that the Lucian does still try to like pick some fights, considering that he's not too far like removed from what the Jinx is right now. I just think in the team fight setting, it's just that Jinx is gonna, if Jinx gets excited, this is gonna be an absolute tear from the side of INT.
Yep. HYG not having such a secure way to get to the backline is going to be the hardest part of this. But I think that's where the counter engage, if they can play it well enough, is really going to have to shine. But we do see some bounties now for the side of HYG here available, so a little rubber band effect possible.
Give it some time. I think HYG still has a moment to come into this. They just need. Yeah, that's actually going to be a big help. Not with Omega the Reaper here to help, and Davey able to take out that kill as Orianna ends up going down. Perfy now using the TP to get here, trying to find some kind of target, but doesn't know what to do. He's in their backline, but it's not going to matter when Omega the Reaper is taking out the rest of your team. Gonna go ahead and take out the Rel as Sathos is able to take out Perfy there, and they're just charging in. W denies the Zac, but it's not going to matter when you already had 2 or actually 3 members of your team drop on the side of HYG. This is now immediately a Drake for the side of INT.
Yeah, that was a much cleaner team fight from INT there as opposed to HYG. They had more members there sooner. It was a little tighter collapse, and we're definitely seeing the goal difference here just coming through. The Veigar now being able to indiscriminately kill the Orianna anytime she's in range is certainly going to be a problem for this Orianna trying to be an affect in this fight.
Oh, the
Poppy
gasping
caught
root
out.
goes right under the W. Caught out in the middle of all of them. The W is not going to, or the ultimate from Vygar, not going to be enough to kill him, but
K
able to
on a
get it with the
killing
Q at the
spree.
very end there. Going on a killing spree for Deity. Drops the K's. The ultimate coming out from the Maokai, able to take him out. As Mount Blanc is going to be able to take out Bonkers. Double kill going right over for Deity. And that's going to be more turrets and more things being dropped as INT is now taking this game in their hands. HYG looking down the barrel of the gun and is hoping that it's not going to go off.
This
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, I feel I'm losing my 2K points. Certainly looks like it's leaning that way. But, if I'm in tier, I'm feeling very well for being there this first appearance. You know, as far as straight or league games go, their skill per lane is really showing that they can make some differences in every single lane, and I absolutely love to see that. So not too much weight is on any one lane to do the job. They all have the potential to outplay their opponents here. And 3-0 and on the Zac, 5-1 on the Vigor, 9-3 on the Riven. Even the 4-4 Jinx has shut down World. They're looking really, really strong here.
Honestly, I wasn't too worried about Jinx at any point. Like, yeah, she started off, I think it was like 0-2, but then it just immediately, everything
Flipped.
translated after that once. Yeah, it completely flipped once that one shutdown happened for her on the Lucian.
Yeah, she was 0-3 and Lucian was 3-0 at one point in the early game.
And now basically matching each other, CS, CS and everything. Oh man, Bonkers. I'm so sorry. When you get trapped in a cage like that, you don't know what to do. Omega the Reaper going godlike now as they're able to take out his life. Jinx sending up the rocket, was hoping to maybe snipe that kill, but ultimately leads to nothing there. And now it's going to translate to an immediate Baron.
Bonkers being very close on actually escaping that baby cage. We cannot deny the feat that we saw right there,
Yep.
dancing around all the abilities, and just at the last second ran into the cage.
Another cage drop. Deity trying to zone them off. This is what I love about Vygar, being that mid lane mage with the only potential. But we do see Perfy going right in the middle. Big damage coming out for the middle of all the Marbra's going to be able to take them out. As the shutdown going over to Lucian is able to take out Vygar just off screen below us there. And Marbra just sitting just over HP, just at like a little bit of single digit HP, gets taken out by Omega the Reaper. The fight ends up turning around now as they're too low to even be able to fight off this Jinx. But the rest of the members of insert name there, not going to be able to do it. They're kind of going in, and it ends up being a big shutdown as Perfy's able to take them out. It's completely turning around now. HYG found the fight, being able to extend it long enough, getting those HP bars low enough. They were able to take one big one for them and stop this Baron and maybe able to get a little bit more off of this now. They had to play a lot more patiently, but it ended up being a big win for the side of HYG, and well, they were so far behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I saw the gold difference there, and I think they gained 2,500 gold there. I think even maybe a little bit more. Certainly feeling good being that far behind, finding those openings like that. Certainly keeping them well within this game. And noted no one got the Baron.
And I think the Baron was like at about maybe 6k HP by the time that fight started. So like once Perfy went over the wall, that started everything. That's a big hero play coming out of their top laner for the side of HYG, and it actually started the fight that led to them getting that 2.5k back in their favor.
Yeah, that was the first death Zac had right there, and Perfy at the beginning of that Baron fight got an absolutely huge We saw him try to carry him out of the Baron pit, but with that true damage coming through with the mag res and armor reduction that Baron has onto Int, just let that damage do so much, and definitely blew Zac out of the fight where he had to back off, and they tried to jungle Baron at 3,000k health, and turns out it was just too much of a stretch, and Int got to HYG got to capitalize on that.
Okay, Mont was getting ready for some type of engage. We see the ult dropped onto Orianna, but Jeffrey Crazy is just jumping right onto Deity, trying to chase him down. A couple more autos, Q, and boom, Jeffrey Crazy now back on his killing spree from earlier. He's finally able to go ahead and take on these 1v1s with certain players, and the Lucian's still extremely strong. We cannot forget that he exists in this game.
Yeah, having 3 items and getting a few kills out of that last fight
All
has certainly
four
protected him
members
from a
of
loss.
INT are right here, ready and waiting, looking for all the members of HYG. Rooted up right there, TJ. And a lot of damage is trying to come up from the Lucian, but a lot of damage is being dropped onto the members. HYG, you finally got another win, and now the mistakes are being shown as you get eviscerated by the side of INT.
Yeah, no one focusing the Jinx there or having a lack of focus of Jinx there. She's going to run away with this game if no one starts to focus her. So these little skirmishes that HYG has with half their team when it come up against N right here is certainly not recommended without a surefire way to get back to the Jinx. That's got to be their focus during these fights.
And now this Baron's definitely looking a lot more free. There is no way for Perfy to easily get into the pit without some way of killing himself or just basically walking all the way around. So now we're wearing purple, and 4 members of the side. I hope you guys realize 4 members on the side of INT are literally wearing double buffs right now. So they're all literally triple buffed at the current moment as we speak.
Yeah, I was setting up Double Dragon here for double chem tech. The healing shields that Maokai and Zach and Riven are able to abuse with that certainly go a long way to extend these team fights and provide their survivability. And the tenacity, when he comes with the Poppy and the Rel, certainly doesn't go unnoticed. But a 13-4 Riven from the top lane, having the Styrex Divine Surrender and building into the next item. She's doing so much damage with the Eclipse. Zach now having the Abyssal Mask to help out with the AP damage that Vigor's laying down while he's in the middle of the fight. Lord Dominance picked up for Jinx here after getting the Kraken Slayer and IE. So definitely hitting that 3-item power spike. But Lucian having Quick Blades, Kraken Slayer, and Rapid Fire Cannon, being able to play these fights a little bit safer. And still putting out tons of damage. Poppy now going for the Dead Man's after the Divine Sunderer, and we see set up top with the Divine Sunderer and a Stride Breaker. So we see 3 Divine Sunderers this game, 2 Kraken Slayers, and so we're really getting to see all the depth, I guess, that League of Legends items have to offer. But it just shows to show how similar these team comps are and what they want to do. As far as how they want to fight, it's still front to back for both of them. They just win in the fight they want to pop up. And right now we're seeing HYG trying to find these small openings right here on the Reaper.
And they do find Reaper here, but I think that's a pretty scary person to find unless you got the damage ready for him. But you do have the Lucian here, unfortunately missing a lot of the culling, but potentially could lose his life as Omega the Reaper is looking to get on top of him and is able to, as he is able to take him out. This is what I was trying to think. What is Omega the Reaper at the point in this game? And it's looking like 1v3 is exactly where he's at, forcing that entire bot lane there to basically just go to the gray screen now. I think they can, and they have Baron buff minions. They're pushing into the mid lane. They actually have the bot lane exposed as well. I don't think that we are going to see any comeback from HYG, and instead it's looking like an INT win here. Perfy using the ultimate to go ahead and try to get something big damage onto the Jinx. Now going on a killing spree, but it's not going to be enough as INT is able to take that win in game 1.
Let's go.
Yeah, very exciting showing from Ant here, showing that they not having that first week has certainly not slowed them down whatsoever.
And they're not scared to scrap. Holy.
In a 26-minute game, we had 51 kills. We literally were having 2 kills per minute, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah, from the very first minute, even if we saw early, it was I think 10 kills or 16 kills in the first 5 minutes nearly. It was quite a bloodbath as we expected. But if I'm Int here, I'm very happy with how we all played individually as well. I think the synergy is in the communication seems to be really on point. But if I'm HYG here, I'm not depressed or put down at all from this fight. I think if they can just improve some of that early lane potential, I think they're certainly well within their abilities to adapt to the second game.
I actually, like, as we were speaking about it, like, I gained a lot of faith in HYG, and let me just tell you, like, the team showed that they have that ability to make the game work. Like, their early game was actually pretty good. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I felt like the early game for them was going pretty well. I just think that maybe they had a hard time of translating that early game into their mid game and allowing to take those advantages, or allow them to use those advantages to their favor, because they were in the lead for a little bit of time before things started to balloon out of control. So I think if they can just tighten up their transitions of early to mid game, they would definitely eke out. They would definitely be able to eke out a win in this game too.
Cuddly, what are your thoughts, bruv?
I mean, that game was just crazy right out of the box. But I have played with Omega before, and I have seen him on his Riven, and he is a beast if he's able to snowball in that lane. So he definitely showed like, yeah, I'm a I'm a champ. So I'm gonna help these guys win another one.
Yeah, if I'm HYG here, we certainly have to focus a little more of the band's top lane. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
see very many at all, even with the early Riven pick from Int. So I think they're gonna have to focus some of their first round drafts a little more for the top lane. At least try to get some of these crazy carries so that Perfy can pick a safe tank and be able to scale into the mid game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But Mont Blanc doing a wonderful job on the Zac. Absolutely insane ganks and great spacing. I love watching him play. He's such a smart player. And we have DD absolutely killing it. And Sathos and Inzert just really showing up. Really excited to see how game two pans out.
I'm actually kind of glad that Sathos and Insert actually turned it around bot lane. Like they had a rough start, like uh, Insert being caught out a lot, and when he was roaming, he died a lot too. But he actually turned it around after he hit that 6, like you said. As soon as Maokai hit 6, the team play and the gameplay was just totally different.
Absolutely. So Malco, if you're in or if you're HYG here, what do you think the big changes are going to be heading into the second game? Where do you think a lot of the flux is going to be, and what do you think Int uh, do they do the exact same thing, or do they try to change it up? What do you think is going to go on here?
HYG start putting more bans towards top lane and start focusing a little bit more top lane. We just saw that clearly there doesn't have to be as much focus on the top side for the side of INT unless they have a jungler ganking Omega, which then you're going to notice more than likely that Mont Blanc is going to be ready to counter engage. So if you want to make it easier for yourselves, start to put more of those bans towards that top side. At least put that Riven ban definitely within your first phase of bans. And then afterwards, just if INT wants to win this game too, they just have to adapt to the fact that top lane is going to probably be a little bit tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe focus a little bit more. TJ maybe help setting up some of these lanes, but when you get a top laner like that that does get ahead, it's really tough to gank. That's kind of like the Alawi when you get a Riven. The ability, like we saw in the end, just to 3v1, the ability to 2v1 even in the early game to bounce around that CC is absolutely incredible. So, great job from Mega the Reaper setting a staple so that Mont Blanc could gank mid and gank bot and still progress the map without having to worry about top lane.
And that just allowed for Deity to basically kind of just be on his own little island. Like mid lane became almost like a small little island at some points where we felt like there wasn't a whole lot going on until we started to see Omega the Reaper kind of open up that top side. And then, all of a sudden now you got Zac appearing more mid lane, trying to help Deity get ahead. And then now that once the side of INT's bot lane was kind of like, oh, now we kind of got our own footing. You started seeing more focus on them there to try to push Jinx into a better spot. So here already, we are now into the draft screen as we speak. Thank you, Blitz, for being able to get us there. And we do see that INT has already banned Nocturne, Nautilus, and Ahri. And we're seeing HYG making that adaptation by banning Swain and Riven, and they're currently awaiting the third ban. If anything, I would potentially want to see Vigar banned here, or Zac even. Give them not that potential to re-engage because we saw that they were able to make that work even around the Poppy. So I think Maokai, Vigar, and or oh nope, still going with that volley band. They really don't want to see that volley bear come out. So the Zac's still open. I think INT could basically just run the same comp, just make something different up for Riven.
Yep. There it is. There's the Zac pick again.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think they were still very comfortable in the rest of their champions, but shaking up the top lane just a little bit, giving Perfy another shot at a cleaner matchup, I think is very smart. But I still agree with the rest of the other bands, Nautilus, Nocturne, Ari, being absolute horrible champions to trying to deal with if they get ahead or the support they provide, and Swain Volibear being incredible tower divers and scaling champions. Certainly goes against what HYG, but they will lock in the Lucian yet again. along with the Zenzao going for an
Ooh.
still more aggressive, potentially bloodbath level game.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. I like action-packed games. Let's go. Let's do it.
I want to see another 2 kills per
More
minute.
blood. Let's go. Pentakill. Give it to me now.
I mean, we could. I honestly thought Omega the Reaper was going to end up potentially having a pentakill
Yeah,
in
me
that
too.
last game. To be real with you. All right, so I think this time we're actually going to see the Ash picked up this time, which remember it was banned by HYG last game instead of it being picked up, and they ended up going for the Lucian. So that means they very clearly didn't want anybody on that Ash beforehand. So I guess that means we're going to end up seeing why it should not have been picked, and INT being able to get that. Sathos is looking like he's going to have a good time.
Yeah, any more peel and CC that Ant can put behind their team, I think it's just going to be more disgusting. I think they've got that synergy down. Definitely looking forward. Oh, yep, Maokai locked in for Ant as well. Yet
I
again.
fucking love. Oh, sorry, I love it. I know. I just. Oh, that's my language. My bad. But I love it. I love it. I love this bot lane so much more now. Like that's
Beep.
way. Like they just. They just.
I
Can we edit that
redacted
out?
love it. Absolutely.
Like, okay, they get the Lucian Nami this time for HYG, so at least they get that. But they did just like honestly, Maokai Ash is extremely difficult to fight against. That is a very, very difficult one. That you engage against that, Maokai just has to counter engage on you, and then you can't really get away unless you're blowing a flash. So I think INT this time definitely has a winning bot lane. Last lane, there was definitely HYG with the winning bot lane last game, but this time I think INT has a much more sustainable and winning bot lane.
Yeah, liking the Nami pick here, along with we see the Vagar and Band away from End, so trying to break up that mid lane as well, along with that Ribbon. So we're going to see a little bit more flexibility here from End in their last 2 picks for mid and top. But we do see the singed Band away. I can't imagine what drove him to do that. I cannot imagine the pain they went through to decide on a singed Band. But we do see the return of Alawi Band, a very safe, comfortable laner for HYG there. So now we get to see HYG's first pick, and then we'll get to see Ent's last 2 laners.
I really do like the Alawi ban. We saw last week what HYG was actually able to do with the Alawi for themselves. So that was actually a decent like ban you wasn't completely expecting, but it's something that was probably warranted against that side just to make sure that the top lane doesn't have any potential of coming back for what you pick. But instead, HYG decided to go with the team fight factor and the overall map presence in getting the Shen for themselves for their top laner.
I think that's super smart. Cuddly, you can comment on this a little bit, but
Mhm.
obviously HYG getting a little more support or more peel-oriented team, and but also a great pick for Perfy to be able to get out of the lane with
No
Reaper in the
way.
top lane and make some impact on other places.
Is that a Trundle top I see?
That is a Trundle top.
Into the Shin.
Oh my
We're
god.
gonna have a. Can he disrupt? He could disrupt his ult with a pillar, can he?
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, this is gonna be an
And then
absolute.
we got Talia mid.
Okay, so I honestly would have liked the Talia mid. I would actually have liked the Talia mid to have been for like HYG. Get us another global ult factor. Get themselves the ability to get into these team fights much faster than INT can, and just basically basically get themselves the numbers factor faster than INT's able to. And then by the time that they're able to get there, you already won the
Ooh.
fight. But I do like this Victor pick. It's basically like Vigar 2.0, having that ability to also influence different parts of zoning team fights as a mage. HYG, I like this comp actually better than their first one.
Yeah, it certainly makes a little more sense. It's certainly not so angry and aggro and divey and whatnot. You certainly see a little bit more peel, a little bit more control, but still plenty of counter engage with the Nami and the Victor. Um, Engaging with the Zenzel, finding these picks might be a little bit tough, but if you're looking at, and they got the Trundle, the Talia, the Zac, they're certainly going to be gunning for HYG with a lot of these force plays, even with the Ash Arrow. So we'll see what kind of counter engage HYG has and what this Zenzel can do into that team.
I mean, in all technicality, the comp basically hasn't really changed. Like, if Deity had the victor for himself, then the comp, in all technicality, was almost exactly the same for INT from the last one, just with the Trundle being a little bit of a difference there. But like when you have that global presence of the Ash now with the arrow, and like she hasn't really changed too much from the Jinx, except this doesn't have that same hyper carry factor. So I honestly think INT can still eke out the win here, but HYG made some serious adaptations, and I think that they have a much overall better comp this time around.
Yep. So if you're going up just draft alone, who you taking it for game 2 there, Malco?
If I'm going just strictly off of this draft, I'm still going I'm just not HYG. Sorry, I'm still going an INT, just because they were basically able to cheat their way into the same composition over again, and it's just going to end up working. But now Deity, having played with Deity and he was in the jungle at that time, the fact that now he has the ability to roam a lot more on this Talia is gonna basically make it so much harder for HYG to fight, especially when you have somebody who's gonna be constantly looking for that roam timer.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cuddly, what is your opinion on as far as like early game versus late game? You know, does HYG have a better chance in the early game before Int can just scale and get out of control, or what do you think HYG's game plan here is with this comp?
I think it's gonna come down to like a kind of like a mid game fight. And Shen and Xin Zhao are going to try to zone out Ash and Maokai from the fights, and then Lucian and Nami and Victor are going to kill the rest of the team.
Right on. We see about halfway through this
I
prediction
see a
poll.
lot of burst potential on HYZ or HYG this time. I don't know why I keep saying Z. I'm sorry, guys.
It's like the XYZ, but HYG. You know, I feel like it's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely agree with you there that HYG has a little more pick potential, you know, in these little jungle skirmishes.
Yeah, the
But
more
Int looks
poke.
like they absolutely dominate these lane fights. But their, you know, idea of, you know, with the Trundle Pillar and Talia Wall, be able to catch people out equally as well with the Maokai. Like, if they even get, you know, 3 members kind of, I don't see how they'll be able to bounce back off really from that at all.
Hmm.
Um, so I agree with that. HYG probably has like a little early game presence with the Lucian, but not like late game. You know, dependent on the Victor or the Shen. But we'll see how this absolutely develops. But I've seen Talia just do so much damage, and against a control mage like Victor, Talia probably has an upper hand early game. But we see Ash Malkai in the bot lane, which is plenty of CC, which is how they tend to outplay people, is just to find where they make mistakes in lane and punish those mistakes. But having Lucian Nami, the absolute classic that was banned away last game on the Nami, I'm excited to see how they're able to dodge around a lot of the CC and what pressure they can put on the Ash before she gets to ramp up.
Hmm. It's gonna be wild.
Malco, any other tips from as far as your laning perspective? What do you think here is going to be the more focused lane for? Let's just
I
start with Int.
we're literally INT. Be prepared to focus on your top lane a lot. I don't think that HYG feels the need to focus on their bot lane. And as we saw in the last game, their bot lane has some damn good self sufficiency. So, if anything, HYG doesn't have to feel the need, especially Jeffrey Case was able to get the Lucian again. And we saw the performance that he put onto that Lucian. It wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty good.
Really good, yeah.
So we see now one Lucian now being able to get the support that enables him most, Nami. So this is actually going to be a little bit better for them. But even though they lost a little bit of CC, it's going to be just focusing on top side. The top side is what really like won it hard for INT last game, and that's just going to be more of a focus now that you don't have Omega the Reaper on that Riven main, and you have a little bit more to work with. And Xin Zhao is definitely going to be trying to gank a lot more up towards there. So I just say INT just get ready for a lot more of a bloodbath in that top side. We might see a lot more tame of a bot lane actually this time around.
Absolutely. And Cuddly, your perspective on HYG, where do you think this Zinzao is going to be running most?
I think if he was smart, he would focus the bot lane first because obviously they had a rough start in the beginning. So if they get them out of that early stage where Lucian can actually go over the top and have that snowball game, I think they can pull it out. And
Yep.
then after Lucian gets fed, he can go to mid lane and help Victor.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair analysis. Having the Lucian Nami as a pretty strong snowball potential there in the bot lane and be able to roam away. It is pretty smart from Ent here to have the Trundle into the Shen. If Shen does ult away, Trundle will be able to punish those roams pretty easily on that tower. So I think we're going to see another pretty farmed up game here on the top side. I'm expecting slightly less bloodbath than last game. I just don't think these guys really have the early game potential to really feel confident in some of those decisions. But I think if Ent gets anywhere near the mid game or late game, I think they're going to be very difficult with how smart they're playing and how they catch people out. Especially like Mont Blanc on the Zac again was just really well done on how he traveled and how he helped his lanes. Really excited to see that again.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm actually very interested to see like what you were pointing out about the Trundle. It's either leave the Trundle alone, knowing that he's gonna barrel down whatever lane he's in, or it sucks because now Shen has a potential of his time being completely wasted, a ult being wasted, a summoner being wasted because there's so many different ways of Trundle basically interrupting it. Now that I look at it, maybe Shen might not even be a factor.
Well, I want to say it might not be a factor because we've seen, we're talking about like a pro play in LCS here, but the idea that they can do like a 4 main gank bot on the Ashe and Maokai just to make sure that they snowball some of the kills and be able to protect it, especially around these dragon plays. I think they have the potential to secure some early objectives based around this bot lane. Even if Ent does get the grubbies and a herald and whatnot, I think the dragon fight is going to be in favor of HYG here. If they can focus the bot lane with the Shen and the Zen's out, I think that has got to be their main plan.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting loaded in. We've seen the Dragon Slayer Trundle versus the Warlord Shin. Looks like Omega, or sorry, man, I'm losing the team names here. Insert team there. Int winning the skin intimidation fight here in the pregame. But we're going to see pretty standard items coming out from everybody, and looks like yet another fence being posted from both teams.
HYG might want to just make sure that they take it a little bit safer. Again, they did make some changes to their composition here, so they don't want to put themselves into too weird of a situation. But instead, they're preparing this time. They saw, we got to pause. I was gonna say, first time around before though, TJ was forced to flash over his red buff wall in game 1 because he was actually ganged up on by the top side of INT from so this time around adapting, being prepared for that, and having 4 members up here instead of just 1, TJ won't be forced to flash, and instead it might be potentially a big fight that we might end up getting here early on, especially if Nami decides to go Q and lands a big bubble. That could actually end up being a bloodbath here. All right, so they unpaused. Frozen for a second.
Yeah, it's letting the stream delay catch back up with the pause, I believe.
Yeah, so gonna have to just back it up like 10 seconds maybe.
Yeah, it will continue when the pause, when the amount of time paused goes away, they'll be able to continue forward. I don't think this is a client diff here. I hope it's not a client diff here.
Hopefully
Time
not.
keeps ticking. All right, we're grooving. All right, we're back in
Now
this.
we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. They're getting
Back
ready.
live.
Here we go. There's 5 members up here from the side of HYG, ready to go ahead and go into INT, and they're able to take out Deity as they get the first blood. And now Omega the Reaper gonna be taken out as well as Bonkers takes that kill. You get a kill to your mid lane or your ADC to start this game off. First blood, 1,000 gold up. Damn good from HYG.
And a shout out
Yeah,
to
and just to-
Materia on the subscription. He has our love for 30 days.
Thank
Love
you,
for
thank
30
you,
days.
Bulgaria.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Just to go back over for the game 2 predictions, we have 77% for Int and 23% for HYG. But HYG getting a really good start. Int there did the similar strat last game where they invaded top lane with more than one, and so HYG adapted by trying to catch them out doing the same thing, and they sure did, and they were absolutely punished for it.
And I called it. I called it. The ADC and Victor are both 1-0 right now. They got to keep that snowball going.
Yeah,
If-
certainly
if-
setting them up well for them.
I was gonna say,
Bone
if
plating
HYG
there
is
from
hoping
the.
for,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if HYG is hoping for a game 3, this is what they want to see. To
Yup.
start off this strong, but again, they need to translate that early game advantage into the mid game. That is what's gonna be very important for their team here.
Yeah, Lucian did get to back before that, so he will start with an extra longsword in lane. But we do see bone plating on the Victor mid, which was a very defensive approach from the Talia.
Mega bullying Perfy right now.
Oh man, we're getting a replay of last
Oh!
game. But
So
Perfy
close.
not afraid.
Yeah.
He's not afraid.
With the Dorn Shield, Perfy is gaining a little bit more health after that trade than the Trundle is outside of sharing their pots. So Trundle's going to be a little more passive auto ins, or at least let the wave die before he can re-engage. But that was very close by Perfy gauging that.
Yeah, not having the ability just to like go forward and everything like they did before. TJ now up here, but you do also have Mont Block here too. Omega the Reaper going in, but this time getting taken out. Perfy. The top side looking very different for the side of HYG this time around. They're just going to let Mont Block walk away. They want to just take the fact that they got the kill on Omega the Reaper, which is great for them. No need to blow sums and things if it's not necessary.
Yeah, Shin did flash to get that kill, but that was a great re-engage. Look, a bit of miscommunication between Omega and Mont Blanc right there for sure. But yeah, the ability for HYG to flirt with that fight and then Perfy getting the flash taunt to secure that kill was really well done. Again, pressing HYG further into this snowballing mid-game.
And already this early on, 1.5k gold lead sitting there for the side of HYG. This is a much earlier, like this is a much faster start for them than it was in the previous game. And we do see that Lucian hasn't really been able to accelerate themselves just yet as much. And I think that's just from the lack of CC. Like you don't have as much CC to help go in onto them as you did with the Rel versus the Nami. But for the overall gameplay, it's just going to end up being better for Jeffrey Crazy to have him to be able to carry more now that he has someone constantly buffing him up.
Right,
Yeah.
and enchanter support rather than an engage support. Absolutely. Where are you going to sit, Cuddly?
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Absolutely. We
That,
see
100% that the Nami Lucian combo is crazy. I used to play it all the time when I was in bot lane. And yeah, it definitely works if you can snowball it hard enough.
we see Zach getting in his first back right now with 32 creeps cleared and Zen going right behind him. So despite Zenzel getting 3 assists there.
We also do have a little bit of fight. Bubble able to land onto him, but Marbra's going to get taken out from the turret shot as Sathos ends up getting that kill for them. But the level up saves him at the last moment. The Ignite could have taken him. But I think Sathos wants to stay here because he believes that Jeffrey's going to try to engage on top of him. I mean, not missing any of the wave either is nice. But at the same time, I don't think it was... You were running a very dangerous game there, staying that low of HP. He doesn't have flash. Yep,
he does have heal.
Yeah,
Crazy holding on heal, but you know Marbra taking that extra tower shot was really tough. But I see the glint in Jeffrey's eye, wanting to keep this Ashe as contained as possible with the lead he has. But that is still 15 CS down, making the Ashe back there even with that kill. But certainly not the worst transition. But now Lucian here will get the double autos.
No!
Yep. You stayed way too long. That's the greed.
Yeah. You stay too long, you take the consequences for it happening.
Something I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, you get the kills on the Nami. That's great. If you get a kill on Nami, that's great. But allowing Lucian to just stick around and then you basically giving him another kill is just, it's not okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a client diff here. Once again, the spectating client being Riot's no longer a small independent company. You know, I'm a bit of an old head, so I can't say that anymore. But I really wish they would figure out their spectator client.
They just don't like us. I don't know what this is. Yeah, just probably just bring it back right before the double. Yep, the double auto kill. And we get the continuation this time. All right, cool. So we get to see. Never mind. I jinxed us. That's my bad, y'all.
Yeah, please bear with us while we manage these technical difficulties. Certainly, I don't think anything on our end. I think the spectator client is no longer receiving information, bugging out. We may see a repeat of last week where the client diff certainly impeded one of the games.
Come on, client. You could do it.
You can do it. We believe in you. Come on.
potentially may have to leave the spectator client, or I guess we can't respectate unless it's an open custom game. Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, no doubt.
Yeah.
None of us could just spectate one of the players by chance. All right, so we're just gonna go from here, and we're gonna hope that spectator just decides to catch up. Oh boy, client diff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love Riot so much.
Okay, here it is. Come
In
on, right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was too well timed.
So we may be getting a client diff for this game too. Let's see if yeah, maybe it'll like even one of us being able to spectate the game definitely puts us in a bit of a pickle here.
I mean, if we're able to exit and then spectate the game from one of the players, that might work. Because that would at least reset the spectator delay.
Yep. So please bear with us while we have these small technical difficulties. We'll try to get this game back to you. But HYG still, if we can talk about that a little bit, adapting very well and coming out very strong into this game too. Not letting Omega up there get away with anything. Perfect, getting set up very well for the top lane. Trundle having 2 deaths out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, and we're just waiting here. So from this point here, what do you guys think that HYG needs to do to keep themselves going? At least to keep this momentum going for themselves in this game. Do you think maybe
It's tough.
focusing more on Lucian and trying to get that bot side going is a good spot, or
I think Lucian Nami are in a pretty well enough spot. I would like to see the Zenzel roam towards the other lanes. We saw even Shen get safe up top, so I'm imagining this Zenzel is going to be adding pressure to this Talia to kind of help Victor scale into the mid game.
what about you, Cuddly?
I want to see Victor pop off. I want to see that ulti just wreck like 4 people at once while they're stuck in his gate. That's what I want to see, a massive Baron fight, 4 people, ulti, dead, and then steal Baron.
Ah. A very
I like the
clippable
way you
moment,
talk.
you might say.
Yeah, I want the clips, you know?
We want the clips for the seer, guys. So come on, we want to see some massive moments like Omega the Reaper on that Baron fight, where he got like the 4 kills just jumping in, or like the 3 kills just jumping in like that. Like we need those moments. And don't forget, every time you guys submit your clips, it has the potential to be seen on the seer each and every week. So get your hyphy clips up, even if you want to clip the stream so you can have the cast in the middle of it potentially too. Go right ahead. We will definitely love for all those clips to be submitted.
Looks like spectating is just down. That is unfortunate.
I mean, one of you guys might be able to try from your client. Maybe you can get
I
something,
can.
but I currently, even if I hit spectate on people, it is not connecting me.
I will attempt real quick. Please hold.
Let's look at the Riot Games support here, see if we can see any server status, League of Legends, NA. No issues. No issues.
No, I can't even spectate either. Oh, here we go. Okay. I think it's working for me now.
All right, looks like mine's loading up as well.
Oh, is it?
Looks like it's just started up again. Yep. So we'll see what happens.
Righty. Okay, spectate was finally able to get working for me, so it took a couple clicks, I won't lie. Oh.
There we go. And I am joining back in, and here we go. Okay, all right. All right, so we might be a little bit farther back on the stream here, with a bit of a delay until we can get current here, but we are back in it. We see only one more kill difference from when we left the game, going over to HYG. It looks like Shen getting that kill. He's got Tiamat here in the top lane, setting up very well, but then we see Jeffrey Crazy starting to get some good ults down onto the Maokai down there.
It's not showing me the gameplay.
Yeah, my spectate just like froze on me. Ruh-roh.
Well, I'm certainly watching on the Twitch stream right now, and they are progressing forward. And then I spoke too
741,
soon.
It died again.
I don't want to get client dick today.
Wish
I didn't
could
sign
get
up for
game.
this.
Unfortunately, client, you have chosen to do this.
Why do you hate us so?
Why do you hate us all? You know, you never see, pro scene have any problems with their spectator client. Fishy.
Listen, they don't want other leagues to blow up. Are you kidding me? Last thing they need is last thing they need is an amateur league blowing up and somehow showing the LCS up in one way or another in their own production. Like, come on, let's be real here, guys. On the LCS, they have just as many mess ups as we do. Like, it's actually sometimes even more egregious, especially in their audio department.
Or a player spills a coffee on their keyboard. I mean, Hooney never done that. What?
Totally just plucked that out of thin air with zero context. Certainly just creating instances. We are trying to work through these spectate bugs, but it
isn't
seems
that
like
the job as a caster? You just come up with the fly.
Yeah, you kind of do. Honestly, some things, I won't lie to you, sometimes I think that some of the stuff they be saying is like just scripted in there. Like they just have somebody who's like a chat GBT bot. It's exactly like they're just like, okay, here's something for you guys to say while just based upon the situation of the game, and they just send it to them. Like,
Yeah. Unless you're Captain Flowers, and then he's just like unhinged.
I mean, I think that's just a part of his contract. He's allowed to be unhinged as much as he wants to be.
Garner main as a caster.
Just wait till that new Skarner rework.
He's
it
so
looks
happy
spicy.
for that.
Yeah, that looks really. The AoE suppression. What the hell?
That's what I imagine like a Doombot Malzahar would do. So it's like an all 5-man suppression, just like point and click with his ult.
Yo, for real, bring back Doombots. That was so much fun. That's the only one mode we haven't seen repeated. We've seen One for All and Earth repeated. We have yet to see Doom. Well, I guess we did see almost immediately Doombots 2 was like an elevated version of it. But absolutely right. Bring that back. bring Doombots back.
When was the last time they did do Doombots? I think that was like 17? Maybe even sooner than that. Jeez.
Let's see what the internet has to say about LOL Doombots, also known as Nightmare Mode. Released, let's see, colors AI, blah, 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 blah. 2015.
2015.
Almost 10 years ago, we saw Doombots. Man.
Riot doesn't believe in PvE mode anymore.
Dude, Dominion was so much fun. And what was the Ascension? Ascension was an absolute. I logged so many hours on Ascension.
I wish I actually appreciated Ascension a little bit more.
Potentially trying to figure out these bugs, but if not, then we'll see if we can get in for a game 3. Still approaching that 741 mark or 714 mark once again, as we see on the stream.
Yep, and currently awaiting it. I do have it on the other side just to see if it ends up freezing on me as well. Um, but I think we have a continuation of the game going forward, possibly here.
No, the
Culling
ticker.
comes out from Jeffrey Crazy. We're just hoping to see if it gets past this 741 mark.
Yeah, it's gonna get to 741 and it's gonna stop again. So we may
Yeah.
just have to call it here.
Yeah, I think that might be smart. I think this game might just be a little bit doomed, but we will come back at the end of game 2 with some results and hopefully be able to project a game, if there is a game 3 in the game 3. But certainly looking like from this upkeep, HYG does not want to make this go 2-0. They are looking for that third game.
I think so too. I wouldn't put it against them to actually be able to eke out that game 3. If I'm being real with you.
Well, certainly they're showing here they're certainly capable. But yeah, Blitz, I appreciate you trying your best to try to debug what's
Yeah, it's
going on.
unfortunate. The game keeps freezing at 741, but they're currently 22 minutes into the game. So
Alrighty, well, we will take a quick break and come back with the start of game 3.
sounds like a plan. If there is a game 3, we'll have to wait and see.
Correct.
But right now we don't know what's going on. Like we're trying to attempt to spectate the game, and all I know is that they're 22 minutes in. What does that mean? Who knows?
Right. We'll see potentially once they get out of the game, we might be able to get one of their players into the game to try to give us a bit of a recollection on what happened.
This is why I feel like we should have like a person that's like outside of like their teams who are just kind of like in the teams chat who can like communicate to them like what's going on, so then we can kind of have like a back and forth with them, almost like just kind of like it's almost like basically a referee is what we need, like just a referee in each of the teams chats, and then it'd be like, hey ref, here's what's going on with spectator, and then they can communicate, and then we can get like some communication of what's going on in the game at that time. At least make our lives a little bit easier.
Or have teams have coaches.
That would be pretty nice, actually. That would be great. I would
So
love
like
that.
higher ranking like players could also be like coaches. So
I'll be
like
right
the
back.
master players and emerald players and stuff like that. Can teach the lower players that are struggling or whatever.
I think that would actually be a really good implemented idea, especially for like some of the higher salary players that can't get picked up by a team specifically, but having them as a coach on the team.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and then
yeah.
they could still benefit.
Yeah, but they still technically are a part of that team. So honestly, like team staffing might have to become a thing, guys. Just hear us out and think about it. Let me see if I can attempt to spectate here on my side. I just want to see it get past 741.
Spectator server data request failed. The game will now exit. So this is the same issue we were seeing last weekend.
Yay, client explosion. I love it.
Game 1 went too hard.
I don't know what implodes more, this or that submarine.
Oof.
What, too soon?
Always too soon.
It's always too soon for submarine jokes? Aw,
Yep.
that's unfortunate.
If nautical nonsense be something, you never mind. Can't say that here.
This is so unfortunate to see this happen because yeah, it just crashed on me too on like my actual computer here.
I don't have anybody on there.
It's yeah, spectator is just straight up broken, I think. It's not. But I think you're right. You know, the game 1 just went way too big. It was just too much for them to handle.
And they're like, okay, hold on. Hold on. Maybe that's why like in the pro scene they take a break in between. Like they have that like 1 to 2 minute break to like make sure the spectate thing is like good to go.
Yeah, I just gotta crash out. It's so weird to see like this now. Like of all the things that you guys can't make work, how is like come on, spectator is the very least they can make sure works.
I don't think they realized how many people was actually going to use it. Like to actually make their own like custom leagues and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, they I feel like they should have suspected something like that to eventually happen. You know, like people wanting to do their own tournaments, their own leagues. Especially, not everybody can be a pro or in the collegiate scene and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
gotta do something. Right now, the game is
So,
still going. It's 27 minutes in.
yeah, I was gonna say that as well. But I think for right now, we'll go ahead and wrap up this broadcast. We'll get to we'll redo the whole game in a VOD. I'll get the captains to post it afterwards, and we'll have another broadcast for you. If there's a game 3, we'll include that there. Malco, you want to help take us out?
Yes, sir. We're so sorry, guys, that these technical difficulties. Remember, small indie company. They they unfortunately couldn't keep the spectator up for us. So we're gonna have to end it here tonight. I'm glad that we were able to give you guys at least that banger of a game one that absolutely probably set the precedent of what the rest of the season is going to look like. I believe that INT is looking like one of the strongest teams right now in the league, and we're gonna have to just see how well they do after this week too. With that said, once again, guys, don't forget to use your Prime subs here by supporting us here. You also get the ad breaks and guarantee your 30 days of love with the Valhalla Esports crew, production cast, and players. With that said, I was joined here tonight by SKT Cuddly, Matthias RDR, and on the production was Blitz. This is Malco as well, and I hope you guys all enjoyed yourselves. Have a good night. Peace out.
Bye guys.
We will march into the night. Let the fear sink in their eyes. We will roar our battle cries. The oath we shall carry strong. Rally up the souls and shields. Fight into the bloodiest fields. For the honor high decree. The heavens is on our side. We will march into the night. Let the fear sink in their eyes. We will roar our battle cries. The oath we shall carry strong. Rally up the souls and shields. Fight into the bloodiest fields. For the honor high decree.